Hello my good friends, I hope you're all doing just fine. Welcome to another Digimon Explained video. We're going to have a short one today, but you'll see for yourself, we always manage to stretch these videos out in the hopes you can still get a lot of information from it. In this video, we're going to be discussing the mega-leveled giant bird Digimon known as Frozvelgrmon. It is a Digimon that made its debut in the Digimon Vital Bracelet Digital Monsters series. But the problem is that it never has received, let us say, an official Ultimate, Champion and Rookie form. So there are obviously many attempts at giving it a proper Digivolution line by the fandom. Many already linked it to the ultimate level bird Digimon called Velgrmon. And why not? They both carry the same name, right? Velgrmon and FROSVELGRMON. But what's interesting in Digimon is that it's not because you carry the same prefix or more or less the same name that you will be related to the one carrying that name. Take Brachimon for example, the ultimate level dinosaur Digimon. There is another Digimon that also carries its name and it isn't related to it at all, aside of being yet another dinosaur Digimon. I am talking about Ultimate Brachiommon. Sure, they both look like Digimon variants of the Brachiosaurus with their long necks, but when you look at the head of Ultimate Brachiommon, you can see that it is a little bit more related to Triceramon, as it's moving around with its head. Both are dinosaurs though, but you get the gist. There are other such examples of Digimon carrying the same name but are really not alike or not at all related. There is Bullmon and Marine Bullmon. There is Angemon and Marine Angemon, whose differences are all clear. But so, these are but examples to tell that Frozvelgmon is not related to Velgrmon, who by the way is deemed as ugly and irrational. Velgrmon is also a hybrid Digimon, a type we have yet to explore, but still a type that is quite different to the Rookie, Champion, Ultimate or Mega level. So Velgrmon might not be it for an ultimate version of Frostvelgmon. I did see some use Peacockmon as a potential ultimate, which would make sense. Frozvelgmon is a peacock after all. Peacockmon is by the way quite interesting as it tells us a bit more about the bird species Digimon within the Digimon multiverse. You see, when certain bird Digimon perform normal Digivolution, they have the potential to become a Deramon. And Deramon is basically your typical peacock, or rather it is your typical Peafowl, especially knowing that it is based on the Indian Peafowl. And for your information, a Peafowl is the general name for the bird species, meaning male, female and the young, while a peacock specifically refers to the male, known for his vibrant colors and long, elaborate tail feathers used in courtship displays. The female is a peahen, who is more drab for camouflage, and the young are called peachicks. So, all peacocks are peafowl, but not all peafowl are peacocks, just as all apples are fruit, but not all fruit are apples. But so, normally bird Digimon have the potential to become Deramon. Strange in a way, as Deramon is also somewhat linked to vegetation Digimon, just like Kiwimon, who we discussed in the Explaining Vegemon video. Deramon possesses characteristics of plants, as there is vegetation growing from its back and it can't even fly. There are cases where bird Digimon will rarely digivolve into Peacockmon, but by using the Digi-Egg of Miracles. It's an armor Digivolution. Actually, specifically that of Hawkmon with the Digimental of Miracles. Certainly an interesting Peafowl who, when taking into account the name of its move, meaning Peahen's assistance, signify that it might be based on a female Peafowl. The only problem with Peacockmon is that it is an armor Digivolution. They normally shouldn't be able to digivolve further, and I say normally, it's Digimon we're talking about. There are always some of those abnormalities ongoing, but normally they shouldn't be able to digivolve further as this form of Digivolution isn't really natural. That's why the strength of an armor Digivolution is, depending on the Digimon, likely in between that of a Rookie Digimon and that of a Champion Digimon. Frostvelgmon is at the mega level, so it probably would be a no to see Peacockmon further digivolve into Frostvelgrmon. But maybe we're not looking at it in the right way. Maybe it's not about those Digimon related to peacocks. After all, if we have a cat that can digivolve into an angel, then maybe something else can digivolve into a peacock Digimon with an affiliation for ice, right? Then what about Frozomon for an ultimate level for Frostvelgmon? After all, it is a Digimon that inhabits areas with heavy snowfall. And you know what? It has the same personality as Frostvelgmon, or more or less the same. Let me explain. You see, Frozomon has a reliable side that pushes it to rescue those who get lost in snowstorms, and Frostvelgmon, according to legend, appears before those who are stranded on snowy mountains and carry them down the mountain. Well, that is, if it assessed their lives and deemed them worthy. Those who are deemed unworthy will be given a peaceful death with its freezing breath. And Frozomon also has this sort of two-face to it. Contrary to its reliable side that rescues those who get lost in snowstorms, it also has a troublesome side that pushes it to eliminate those that get in the way of its rescues, even if there are babies. In other words, it is ready to kill even babies if it is stopping it to help rescue those in need. That's a bit similar to Frostvelgmon, as both of them are assessing a lot in a way. And Frozomon itself is said to be a winter-themed evolved form from champions like Hyogamon, who we have discussed in its own video, or Hyogamon, who I had already said previously that I would have loved to see it digivolve further, because Hyogamon is the ice variant of Ogremon, who will end up digivolving into the god killer Titamon. Definitely one of my more favorite Digimon out there. But that would mean that Hyogamon would further digivolve into Frozomon to then become Frostvelgmon. I hope it somewhat makes sense. If it does, then I'm actually happy. We have to wait until it gets officialized. But in a way, I like that there is plenty of mystery surrounding Frostvelgmon's Digivolution line, because we're not talking about just any kind of birds. This one is actually one among the giant bird Digimon who rarely appears before others. Its existence is extremely rare, and as such, it is considered to be a symbol of awe in certain regions. It can generate blizzards with its tail and wings to change the weather, but it can also instantly turn an enemy into dry ice with cold beams fired from its mouth. If that is not enough, it can attack your ears by singing a beautiful cry, charming the listener. But don't let the beauty of the song fool you, as it is a song of destruction that causes those who finish listening to it to completely shatter into pieces from within. And when I say that it is a giant bird, well, it actually reaches the height of 48 feet or 14.6 meters, and it is based on the Jotun Frostvelgmon, who is from Norse mythology. Frostvelgmon, who is also nicknamed Corpse Swallower, is a giant in Norse mythology who takes the form of a giant eagle sitting at the northern edge of the world, or maybe heavens, and creating the world's winds by beating his wings. And Frostvelgmon is often associated with devouring the dead, hence Corpse Swallower, and this also explains why Frostvelgmon also destroys Digimon within the Digimon multiverse, as it is a digital reincarnation of Frostvelgmon. So Frostvelgmon's story simply continues, but within the Digimon multiverse. I do like that Frostvelgmon is yet another Digimon that was inspired by northern mythological creatures. We have made a video where we discussed how present northern myth is within the Digimon multiverse, and there is simply too much, and I like that they just continue with it. Though, I also want to add the following concerning the overall bird Digimon, as we haven't really given them attention or enough attention aside of maybe, the Velgrmon line. So what's interesting about the birds in the Digimon franchise is that they also exist of all kinds. But even they themselves, depending on the one we're talking about, can be deemed as gods. That's perhaps why Frostvelgmon has these, 2 golden rings on its ankle. I doubt they are holy rings like what you'd see on Phoenixmon's ankles, and the holy ring, well, in case you don't know, it has incredible powers, but it also shows that a Digimon has a divine heritage. We talked about it properly in its own video, the link is in the description box. But so, Frostvelgmon might not officially be carrying the holy rings, but it can be seen as a sort of god bird type Digimon who has a special affinity for snow and ice. Add in the fact that it is rarely seen, its story and abilities even reached the legends, so it's quite legendary. While Frozvelgmon is likely going to be found out there in snowy mountains, there are other holy bird type Digimon that you can also find in other areas. Hyogamon, for example. It is a holy aquatic bird that is a giant but lives in the deep net ocean. We have yet to go through this beautiful Digimon who has Chinese roots. Velgrmon can be seen as the holy bird of light, as all of its moves involves light in some capacity, holy light even. It doesn't live in the snowy mountains like Frostvelgmon, and it doesn't live underwater like Hyogamon. However, it inhabits the stratosphere, which is 40,000 meters up in the sky, or 131,233 feet. And it is also as huge as previously mentioned birds, as its wingspan, at least when the wings are spread to their widest, reaches as much as 30 meters or 98 feet. Maybe final example for the birds would be Chronomon, who instead evolved to become a birdman. It is a little comparable to those dinosaur and dragon Digimon who end up digivolving into humanoid dragons, also called dragonkin Digimon. Well, the birds also have it, and the best example is Chronomon, who is a holy bird man Digimon, but with the power of space and time. A Digimon we have also yet to explore entirely, and I can't wait to do that. It's probably going to be a very long video. But so again, there are plenty of interesting bird type out there in the Digimon franchise. That's why I am making all of these references, because I believe them to be among the more underrated Digimon. So it's good to shed some light to them. But how do you guys think of Frozvelgmon? Do you believe to have a proper Digivolution line for it? Make sure to write it down in the comment section, and please elaborate your choice, elaborate what you have to say about Frozvelgmon. Don't forget to like the video to help the channel with the YouTube algorithm, because you know that algorithm is sometimes extremely relentless. Please don't forget to subscribe. It really means the world to me. And in case you guys are new, know that all Digimon videos are placed in various Digimon playlists, which are always updated. That way you can catch up to newer and older videos.